I know what you're thinking about, but you haven't been able to stop thinking about since it happened. The only thing that's been occupying your thoughts every waking minute ever since your girlfriend showed you who you really are. You're thinking of the night you finally let go, the night you allowed who you really are, what you really want, to finally be exposed, the night you finally let her really, truly stuff you. Everything started off normally, didn't it? You had no idea when you sat down at the dinner table that night that it would mark the beginning of a life of unfettered gluttony, the life you know you were always meant to live. You had no idea that you would end your night a stuffed, panting, helpless mess too full to move. You didn't know about your lover's plan to stuff you to your absolute maximum capacity, to finally show you the true extent of your greed and turn you into the piggy you were meant to be. She got your favorite, right? Pizza, although she ordered a bit more than she normally would for just two of you. Her excuse was flimsy. She claimed she wanted two different toppings and couldn't decide, but you just took it in stride, didn't you? Even then, you must have had a tiny premonition of what was going to happen to you, what was going to be done to you. You probably felt a little glimmer of excitement seeing all that food on the kitchen table, your subconscious mind already wanting you to gorge yourself until you couldn't take it anymore. You didn't say anything, of course. You didn't even allow the thought to fully form in your mind, but that feeling, that pull that you've always tried your best to push down and ignore, it was there, wasn't it? Even before your girlfriend finally confessed her true intentions. You both ate a piece, making small talk as usual, but then she fixed you with a look you were only recently starting to become familiar with. You were both aware of your mutual interest in fetishism, the way you both always had less than typical reactions toward depictions of weight gain in media or stories, but you'd explored the concept very little. Sure, she fed you once or twice. Sure, you both got worked up when you said phrases like, I'm so full, but things were always sanitized, always well within the realm of normalcy. You thought that she was only mildly interested, that there was no way that thoughts of you piling on weight and chubbing out in front of both of your eyes ran through her mind as constantly as they ran through yours. But the look in her eyes that day was different, huh? She told you she just wanted to try something, that she wanted to feed you instead of you eating for yourself. You'd only had one piece. You were still hungry, and the thought of her feeding you again was a pleasant one, so you agreed. You thought it was hot when she stood up and fed you your first bite. You found yourself wishing it was something you two did more often. You put away your second piece with ease, then your third. You noticed that she was feeding you a little faster, a little more aggressively, really shoving the food in your mouth instead of giving you the time to take a bite, but you didn't think too much of it. You actually sort of liked it, and despite the fact that the massive bites were leaving your mouth crammed full, you took it without complaint, chewing steadily while your girlfriend told you how good you were doing, told you what a good eater you were for her. Then the fourth piece was finished, and she immediately picked up a fifth, bringing it to your mouth without regard for the fact that 4 pieces was usually your max. You ate that piece as well, a bit more slowly than the others despite her eager feeding, and when she reached for a sixth, you grabbed her wrist to stop her. What did you say to her again? I think it's a little too much, babe? And you were shocked when she just laughed and grabbed the piece anyway. Shocked, as if you didn't see the look in her eyes and know that today would be the day she took things too far, the day she showed you just how badly she needed to see your body grow. You ate the sixth piece in sudden silence, already beginning to feel the pangs of overfullness, then attempted to stop her again when she reached for the seventh. How excited did you get when she told you she wasn't gonna stop? When she told you that you had no control over the situation, that you were going to eat until she was done with you? She could sense it right away. She knew that your protests were feigned, that you would just go right on eating because deep down it's what you really wanted, what you've always wanted. You've always wanted to succumb to your greed. You've always wanted to bloat yourself up until you were a tubby caricature of your former fitness, but you never allowed yourself to. Always enjoyed your little fetish in small increments that you felt would have no impact on your real life. But all those instances added up, didn't they? All those weight gain stories you read, those feeding videos you couldn't stop watching, all the times you ate a little more than you knew you should just to feel how tight your stomach got. It all got to your head. Those ideas wormed their way deeper and deeper into your brain until they became your desires, desires that you would lust frantic to bring into your reality. That's when she started to get rough, wasn't it? When she called you a good little piggy and made you eat faster and faster, when she stopped giving you time to chew and instead forced bite after bite into your greedy mouth. You told her you couldn't take anymore, that this whole thing had gone too far, and that just spurred her on, just made her pick up slice after greasy slice and force it to your overfed lips. You actually thought she'd be done when the first pizza was gone, remember? You were already groaning and more bloated than you could ever remember being, your little gut rock hard with the volume of food that she packed into you. She was so gentle with you then. At least, for a little while. She rubbed your swollen belly and told you what a good job you'd done for her, how big you were going to get if you kept letting her feed you like this. But then she gave that growing belly a hard smack, didn't she? And while you burped and moaned from the sudden pressure on your already overstuffed middle, she opened the second box. You protested, but your protests were getting so weak. Not just because you were getting too full to fight back, but also because you were starting to like it. You were starting to want it, even though you refused to open up your mouth for the next piece she held up. She grabbed your chin to force your mouth open and pushed it down your throat anyway, the sexually charged intensity of her actions mounting with every calorie you put away. She fed you another piece, then another, and finally you leaned back in your chair completely spent, your belly rising and falling with your heavy breaths and your face covered in tomato sauce. Why did you even ask her to stop at that point? You knew she wouldn't. You knew she loved seeing you beast on that chair like that, unable to move. But more than that, you knew you